Hey, Lily, are you really okay? On the morning of the field trip, I asked Lily that question. But she said, I'm fine. Plus, I'm looking forward to Grandma's delicious packed lunch, so I'm going, and left home earlier than usual. With a prayer-like feeling, I watched Lily's back as she went to school. Please, let it end as a fun day. I couldn't help but wish for that. However, my wish did not come true. Just 30 minutes later, the worst happened. Lily! What happened? When I opened the front door, there stood my granddaughter, who had said she was going on a field trip, crying and clutching a mud-covered backpack. And inside the backpack she showed me, it was stuffed with a bunch of trash. I felt a surge of intense anger at this tragic scene. What is this? As I shook with anger, trying to empty the trash from the backpack, what's wrong? My son, Michael, who was working from home, peeked out from behind. Michael, this. Trying to contain my unplaceable anger and disappointment, I presented Lily's backpack to Michael. Then he took the trash from the backpack and said, "This is." With a smile towards Lily. The next moment, he said, "That's great." And to my surprise, Lily also smiled and said, "Yeah, everyone put it in for me." I was so happy I cried. Now, I better go or I'll be late for the field trip, and headed back to school. Feeling left out, I blankly stared at Lily's energetic back as she ran off. My name is Laura Townsend, a 55-year-old housewife. My husband, Ken, and I have been living with our son Michael and granddaughter Lily for the past 5 months. The reason we started living together was that my daughter-in-law, Emily, passed away due to illness. Emily had late-stage cervical cancer. She was always prone to severe menstrual pain and would usually just get by with over-the-counter painkillers when she felt unwell. Additionally, she had always had irregular periods and occasional abnormal bleeding, so she became insensitive to changes in her body. As a result, by the time she realized something is wrong, it was already too late. When the hospital where she was undergoing tests said, "Please prepare for a long-term hospitalization as we're starting treatment," I was just dumbfounded, Michael told me over the phone, with a voice devoid of hope. The shock of discovering the cancer was bad enough, but in Emily's case, the cancer had already begun spreading to other areas, making surgery impossible. Therefore, they had to try chemotherapy and radiation therapy. However, these treatments hardly had the expected effect. Michael's voice, updating me regularly over the phone, became increasingly somber and weak. All I could do was listen to my son's stories, just responding with a huh. And a year ago, Emily passed away quietly in her hospital bed. It all happened just 8 months after the cancer was found. If only I had been more insistent about her going to the gynecologist. Michael lamented for a while after Emily's death, blaming himself for being indifferent to her health and falling into a deep gloom. On top of that, he was overwhelmed with taking care of Lily, who was in 1st grade, and managing household chores, reaching his limits both mentally and physically. Lily, on her part, was confused by the sudden loss of her mother, sometimes crying at night and refusing to go to school. Ken and I, wanting to encourage and support them, suggested living together. Initially hesitant, Michael agreed when I said, having someone always at home would make Lily feel more secure. However, Michael had one major concern about living together. That was the fact that moving meant Lily had to change schools. Initially, Michael feared that transferring schools, especially while grieving for Emily, would be too much of a mental burden for Lily. But he was also feeling the strain of juggling work, household chores, and parenting. After days of deliberation, he couldn't come to a conclusion. So, he decided to ask Lily how she felt about it. "Hey Lily, Dad and Grandpa and Grandma are saying they'd like us to live together at Grandpa's house. What do you think?" "Eh? Live at Grandpa's house? I want to go." "Is that so? If we do that, you'll have to change schools. Is that okay?" "Change schools? What's that?" "It's like moving houses, but we'll be moving to a new school. So, you won't be able to see your friends from your current school anymore. Is that all right?" "I see. Does Dad want to move?" "Dad is okay with either. What you feel is most important." "Then, I want to move. That means Grandma will always be with us, right?" "Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa will always be with us. So, we'll start preparing for the move, okay?" With that, Lily strongly nodded in agreement to Michael's final confirmation. And so, it was decided that my son's family would come to live with us. Later, I found out that Lily's reason for deciding to move was for Michael's sake. Even though Dad is really busy with work every day, he looks so busy with things like my homework and cooking. So, I thought it'd be easier for Dad if Grandma was with us. When Emily was critically ill, I had stayed at Michael's house and took over all the household chores. It seems Lily decided that living with us would lessen Michael's burden based on that experience. Both my husband Ken and I were deeply moved by Lily's kindness. In return, we devoted all our love and time to Lily, taking care of her in place of the busy Michael. Thanks to that, Lily, who was initially quiet and reserved after moving in, gradually began to regain her brightness. Still, sometimes, she would intently watch other mothers and children chatting happily at the store or during school events, showing a look of loneliness. Even though she's putting on a brave face, it's still hard for her. At that moment, I resolved in my heart to do anything I could for Lily's smile. One day, while shopping at a nearby supermarket, a woman about Michael's age approached me.
Hello there. You're Lily's grandmother, right? I'm Amber, the mother of Sarah from the same class. My daughter always talks about how much she's helped by Lily.
This woman, Amber, approached me with a strong perfume scent and a forced smile. Actually, I recognized her face, knowing she was a parent from the same class. However, I didn't have a very good impression of Amber. That's because when I attended school events in place of Michael, Amber and the other moms would laugh and whisper whenever they saw me or Lily. At first, I thought I might be mistaken, but apparently, the same thing happened even when Michael attended. I thought she was rather rude, but since we were just classmates' parents, I decided not to worry about it. Faced with an unexpected encounter with someone I wasn't fond of, I thought to myself, what should I do? I'm not too comfortable around this lady. But, considering she was my granddaughter's classmate's mother, I decided to continue the conversation for a while. Amber, standing boldly in the middle of the supermarket aisle, suddenly started bragging about her family.
I can't say too much since it's private information, but my husband Steve is a rising star in a big corporation. So, he earns more than most people. Plus, he's highly trusted by his superiors and is about to get promoted.
Is that so? Congratulations.
And my daughter is a top student and very popular in class. She was even scouted to be a kids model.
That's impressive. I should be going soon. Thinking it wasn't a conversation worth blocking the supermarket aisle for, I tried to leave. That's when Amber suddenly raised her voice. Wait, I haven't finished talking yet. Taken aback by her sudden change in demeanor, I involuntarily stopped in my tracks. This is why I can't stand old people. Seriously, such a nuisance. What I mean is, your granddaughter is a bad influence on my perfect daughter, so I'd rather you not interact with her anymore. Excuse me? What do you mean? Your granddaughter Lily, her mom passed away from sickness, right? Poor girl, left all alone. She still looks so gloomy sometimes. It's like she's spreading unhappiness, you know? Like a walking misfortune. What are you trying to say? I'm saying her presence is a bother. What are you talking about? My family is at a crucial time with my husband Steve's promotion at stake. So, I told my daughter Sarah not to play with Lily, to avoid catching her misfortune, but Lily keeps following her around and it's causing trouble. Please, tell her off firmly. After saying this, Amber smirked nastily and disappeared into the crowd at the supermarket. I was left stunned and speechless at the supermarket, unable to respond to such a terrible conversation and unexpected event. That evening, when my husband Ken came home, I told him about what happened at the supermarket. So, that happened. Maybe Lily is having a hard time at school? What should we do, call the teacher? Oh. Should we talk to Michael first? Laura, calm down. Has any other parent said something similar? No, this was the first time. Then let's just talk to Michael and observe for a bit more. We don't want to make a fuss and end up upsetting Lily, right?
But, to be told something like that? She must be facing something at school. At least, we should find out how things are at school, right?
Okay, calm down. Tonight at dinner, I'll bring it up and see how she reacts. Then we'll decide what to do next, okay? All right. Thank you. Ken, though looking concerned, understood my feelings. I really wanted to talk to Lily directly myself. But, when I thought about it calmly, I realized I might end up pressing her too much out of worry. Considering that, Ken, who could stay calm and listen, was better suited for this. That night, Michael came home late from work, so it was just the three of us for dinner. Lily helped with dinner as usual and enjoyed my cooking, not showing any signs of distress from school. I wonder if she's hiding it so we don't notice. On that day, I began to question Lily's behavior for the first time. As dinner was drawing to a close, I gave Ken a signal. Ken cleared his throat and casually asked Lily, "By the way, how's the new school? Are you having fun?" Lily stopped eating and was silent for a while at the sudden question. Then, in a small voice, she hesitantly said, "It used to be fun, but not so much anymore." I thought to myself, I knew it. Then I asked Lily, "What's not fun?" Slowly, Lily started to talk about what was happening at school.
Sarah suddenly said she doesn't want to play with me anymore. During breaks and after school, she says we can't be together.
According to Lily, about a month ago, Sarah suddenly started ignoring and avoiding her. This behavior led to other classmates also acting distant towards Lily.
Did Sarah say why she doesn't want to play with you anymore? Did you ask her?
Ken asked, sounding worried. But it seems Lily herself had no idea what caused it.
Does everyone hate me now?
Lily murmured this, tears streaming down her face as she sobbed softly.
I had a feeling the situation was more serious than I thought.
Quietly, I stood up, gently embraced Lily, and soothingly rubbed her back. That's when Michael arrived home. Seeing Lily crying, Michael was surprised, and my husband explained the conversation we had during dinner. Michael then knelt to Lily's level with a calm expression, saying, "It's okay, Lily. No matter what, the three of us will protect you," and gently stroked her head. He then stood up, saying, "Dad, can we talk for a sec?" and took my husband to another room, likely discussing the next steps. Perhaps touched by Michael's words, Lily let out her suppressed emotions, crying loudly. I held her tightly, letting her cry until she felt better. And I strongly hoped that these sad tears would only be for today. A few days later, Lily brought home a letter about an upcoming field trip. Right after finding out she's not getting along with her friends, and now a field trip. What terrible timing. I thought, picturing Lily alone on the field trip. And feeling my heart ache remembering her recent tears.
Hey, Lily. Just so you know, if you don't want to go, you don't have to.
Before consulting with Michael or my husband, I shared my thoughts with Lily first. I knew it was important to discuss as a family, but I couldn't help but express my concern for Lily. Lily paused before cheerfully responding, "It's okay. I want to eat Grandma's packed lunch, so I'm going." That night, she excitedly told my husband and son about the field trip. They smiled and said, "That sounds fun," but I was consumed with worry. So, on the morning of the field trip, I asked her, "Hey, Lily, are you really okay?" Lily replied, "I'm fine. Plus, I'm looking forward to Grandma's delicious packed lunch, so I'm going," and left the house earlier than usual. With a prayer-like feeling, I watched her back as she headed to school.
Please, let it end as a fun day.
But my wish did not come true. Just 30 minutes later, the worst happened. Hearing the doorbell, I rushed to the front door, panicked.
Lily! What happened?
There stood my granddaughter, who had left for the field trip, crying and clutching a mud-covered backpack. Inside the backpack she showed me, it was stuffed with a bunch of trash. The picnic sheet we neatly folded the night before, the cute, colorfully painted field trip guide, and the lunch I made that morning were all buried under the trash. I felt a surge of intense anger at this tragic scene.
What is this?
As I shook with anger, trying to empty the trash from the backpack, "What's wrong?" Michael, who had been working from home, peeked out from behind. Despite his words, Michael was probably worried about Lily too. Unusually, he had decided to work from home that day, saying, "I'll stay in the living room," and watched Lily as she left. Even after she departed, he seemed restless and unable to concentrate on his work. Michael must have hoped that Lily would enjoy the field trip and return home happily. But now, facing this outcome. "Michael, this," I said, trying to contain my anger and disappointment, presenting Lily's backpack to him. Then Michael, picking up the trash from the backpack, murmured, "This is," and, for some reason, smiled at Lily. The next moment, he said, "That's great." Confused by Michael's inexplicable behavior, I almost raised my voice. But Lily, smiling just like Michael, said, "Yeah, everyone put it in for me." I was so happy I cried. Now, I better go or I'll be late for the field trip, and headed back to school. Feeling left out, I blankly stared at Lily's energetic back as she ran off. Michael then turned to me, smiling gently, "I've taken care of it, so everything's fine now," and went upstairs. My head was still in chaos, unanswered questions swirling around. But not wanting to disturb Michael at work, I silently began cleaning up the dishes in the living room. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'm just glad that Lily is smiling again. At that moment, I was happier to see Lily's smile return than to have my questions answered. Since Michael said it's all okay now, I thought I could just hear the full story later. For the first time in several days, I felt a sense of relief and lightness in my shoulders. After finishing my household chores, I unexpectedly dozed off on the living room sofa. When I woke up, it was an hour before Lily's usual return time. Oh my goodness, I slept for so long? I still need to do the laundry, prepare the bath, and start cooking dinner. In a rush, I finished my chores and was preparing dinner when, right on time, Lily came home. As usual, the intercom rang, and I responded, "Yes, yes," while answering it. But the scene on the intercom screen made me tense up again. There was a man with a sorry look, a girl on the verge of tears, and Amber, looking quite displeased. I quickly called out to Michael upstairs. Michael, surprised yet composed, opened the front door and first warmly greeted Lily with a smile, "Welcome back." Lily responded with the same smile as in the morning, "I'm home," and jumped into Michael's arms. The unfamiliar man, having witnessed this, spoke in a weak voice, "Hello, my name is Steve. May I have a moment of your time?" Michael quietly invited them in, saying, "Please come in." Yes, this man was Amber's husband, Steve, and the girl was Lily's classmate, Sarah. As soon as Steve entered, he began apologizing in front of the shoe cabinet. "I'm terribly sorry for my wife's despicable actions that deeply hurt your daughter." Even Sarah, standing next to him, tearfully apologized, "I'm sorry." Lily. Michael and I quickly urged Steve to stop apologizing. But Steve refused to stop and continued explaining the situation. According to him, Sarah was popular among her friends, and Amber was proud of this. However, when Lily transferred to their school, the class's attention shifted to her. Sarah didn't mind this, but as she often talked about Lily to Amber, Amber became jealous, saying, "Just a transfer student getting all the attention," using her motherlessness to gain sympathy. What a spiteful child. Sarah is the popular one. I'll teach her a lesson. Amber then told Sarah, "Listen, Sarah. Lily is actually very mean. You can't be with her. Tell the other kids, and let's all agree not to play with Lily. You understand? You can do it. I always wanted to play with Lily, but if I break the promise, Mom punishes me," Sarah said, clinging to Steve's arm, trying to express her feelings. It later became clear that Amber's punishment involved hitting Sarah on the head, back, or bottom. Sarah was just following Amber's orders out of fear of being punished. Amber had been controlling Sarah through violence, but an unexpected event occurred. Unexpectedly, none of Sarah's classmates accepted her proposal. Instead, they secretly collected empty boxes of Lily's favorite character-themed snacks with points for a surprise gift, knowing Lily loved them. Unaware of this, Lily had been concerned about her classmates whispering and hiding things from her. That's why she told us a few days ago at dinner, "Maybe everyone hates me," and cried. But in reality, Lily wasn't disliked by anyone. In fact, the kids themselves thought of making her happy and planned a surprise for her on the field trip day. Lily went to school earlier than usual that day because her classmates called her out for the surprise. When she arrived at the classroom, her classmates filled her backpack with a lot of those empty boxes. "Wow, thank you, everyone. Oh, I have to show Dad and Grandma. I'll be right back." Lily, clutching her backpack with care, excitedly dashed out of the classroom. However, she tripped near the shoe lockers and her backpack ended up covered in mud. At that moment, Sarah happened to be passing by. "Lily? Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going home for a bit." "Did you forget something?"
No, look at this. Isn't it amazing?
When Sarah saw inside Lily's backpack, she remembered the surprise present from their classmates.
"I want to show it to Grandma and Dad at home,"
Lily said with a beaming smile. Seeing Lily's joy, Sarah seemed to want to do something for her too. So she said, "Wait, you're hurt, let me put this on for you," and offered Lily a band-aid with a character on it that she cherished. "Really? Isn't this your treasure, Sarah?" "It's okay. Lily, you're an important friend to me."
Thanks. I have to hurry and show it to them or I'll be late for the field trip.
On her way home, Lily was so moved by everyone's kindness that she ended up crying. I saw Lily crying with her muddy backpack and mistakenly thought she had been treated badly at school. But I never imagined such a wonderful thing had happened. Michael and I were both moved by this remarkable event and couldn't help but shed tears. Sarah really loves Lily. So, if it's not too much trouble, could you please let them play together again? We'd really appreciate it," said Steve, apologizing again. "Your feelings have been made clear, so please, no more apologies. Lily, you can be friends with Sarah again, right?"
Yes. Sarah is an important friend to me.
With Lily's words, Steve finally stopped apologizing. While they apologized repeatedly and then left. Amber didn't say a word the entire time. She just glared at us with a sullen face throughout. To hurt a child and not even apologize. I thought Amber was standing there without apologizing because she was rude and selfish. But I would soon learn that wasn't the case. Wait, Steve is Ken's subordinate? After Lily went to bed, I shared the evening's events with my husband along with Michael. That's when I learned the whole truth from Michael and my husband. Michael said he realized Steve was Ken's subordinate during casual conversation at a school event. But not wanting to make things awkward, he decided to let it pass. Dad's work has nothing to do with me, but when it comes to Lily, it's a different story. That night, after seeing Lily crying, Michael told Ken about Steve. The next day, Ken called Steve in to discuss everything. Steve immediately checked the facts with Amber and Sarah. Once he confirmed Ken's story, he rushed to finish work and came to apologize at our house. So that's why Amber was glaring like that. But it's good that Steve is a decent man. He's very serious and reliable, both in work and character. Almost too serious. We'll have to support him, things might get tough for him. As Ken had suspected, Amber and Steve soon filed for divorce. But as Amber was a stay-at-home mom, she demanded, "If you want a divorce, insure my living expenses. I won't give up custody of Sarah. I need $10,000 a month for living and child support. If you can't pay, no divorce." Steve consulted a lawyer and started gathering evidence to favor the divorce. Then they discovered Amber was cheating with a man she met on a dating app. Amber was obsessed with her affair partner, but suddenly, all contact was cut off. Blocked on email and phone, Amber became increasingly irritable. That irritation gradually turned into excessive expectations for Sarah.
In lessons and at school, you have to be the best. If you don't succeed, there will be punishment.
Sarah was a very hard worker, diligently trying to meet Amber's expectations. Yet, Amber kept inflicting punishment for unreasonable reasons as a routine. Once this was officially recognized, custody of Sarah was granted to her father, Steve. Moreover, Amber was ordered to pay alimony for her affair and is now working part-time to make ends meet. After this incident, there was a happy change in our family. Lily, who previously only had my husband and me to play with after school, now had a playmate. Surprisingly, it was Sarah. To be honest, I hadn't had a great impression of Sarah initially. But after the divorce and being freed from her mother's control, Sarah turned out to be a very kind and considerate girl. Above all, Lily's happy face when playing with Sarah spoke volumes. Since then, Lily and Sarah have been playing together almost every day.
I am so happy to see Lily's smile every day, something I've always wished for.
And I plan to continue showering Lily with unwavering love to keep this happiness going.